All right. Hey, Skylar. Hey, JR. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Trying to get this set up here. Turn that down. Well, I just thought I would jump on. Hey, Judy. Cowboy, how's it going? Kathleen, Craig, Penny, Sunil. New York City, you're up late. Cheryl, Retrace. Hey, Mike. Scott, another Scott. How's it going? You like this mic, Kevin? Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. Actually, I was going to do a check to see how it sounds. I guess it sounds good on my end. Everybody always complains about my audio, so I thought I'd crack this mic out and give it a try. Sounds good to me, anyway. A little staticky, I think, though. But I guess that's to be expected since my name is Static. Then I guess that we should expect some static. Oh, good. Thanks, Judy. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, good to get a little feedback there. I need a different mic setup, but this is what I have for now, so this is what I'm kind of stuck with. Hey, Michael. How's it going, man? Audio is good for you, too? Excellent. Glad to hear it. The Oregon coast. It seems like I've been checking the weather all over, and seems like it's still kind of cold up there, Scott. But that's good to hear. It's sunny anyway. I've gotten quite used to the warmer temperatures down here in the Southwest. That every time I look at anywhere other than the Southwest, I seem to be. It just seems like it's too cold to me. Hey, JR. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate that. Is it cold and beautiful, JR? It's probably true, Penny. You're probably right. Hey, Shimei. Nice to see you. All right. I need a better setup because I need to look down. I have my iPad down here so that I can actually read. And then the phone's up on top, and it's probably a little weird setup here. But this is the best I can do. Kind of like the mic, it's the best I can do with my microphone. So just doing what I can. But anyway, what is my local time? It's just after 6 p.m. here. I'm in, the West Coast always. I don't ever seem to leave the West Coast. Although occasionally I get out to Arizona, so that would change the time, wouldn't it? I guess. Maybe that's what you're asking. You're sly. Are you trying to be sly and try to see where I am exactly without asking? A spring day in Ontario. I don't believe that, Mike. I don't believe that for a second. Is it chilly in the bay? Yeah, I figured. I've been checking temperatures all over, and it just seems like it's cold everywhere. It was actually a little chilly last night where I am. I say a little chilly. It was pretty cold. I was happy to have all my blankets on, and I ran my heater for a few minutes too before I went to bed. I didn't run it all night last night, but I did wear my toque last night, which I was happy I did because it was pretty chilly where I'm at right now. Hey, Kristen. Oh, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you watching. Hey, Monica. How's it going? You're guessing there might be trees? I've been hoping for some trees. I guess there are trees where I'm at right now. In a way, sort of, kind of. No, there are. Again, fishing for information, aren't you all? That's what it is. You'll know where I'm at in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from now, you'll know where I'm at right now at this point. Although, it's hard to tell when that will be from that time. But anyway, yeah. But in 2 weeks' time, you'll know exactly where I am today. I did make coffee, by the way. I hope you're drinking something. Probably not coffee for all of you though, because coffee probably keeps all of you up, where it doesn't keep me awake at all. So I'm drinking coffee right now. Almost 61 degrees there, Mike, huh? And you did the conversion for me. Thank you. I'm not too good with centigrade. Hey, Julie. Is it windy where you're at, Julie? I didn't notice it being windy today, but where I'm at, hmm. I like dog parks, JR. Dog parks are the place I usually like to be, but I don't know the Bay Area very well. I kind of stay away from it as much as I possibly can. You're drinking a cup too, Scott? All right. Chocolate milk. There you go. Oh, you're recovering, JR. Well, I hope you have a speedy recovery. I do like my coffee, yes. Suzanne, how are you? I am really liking the new duvet cover. It's fantastic. I kind of wished I'd bought it before. I'd been looking at it last year, and then I just haven't really been around a IKEA in a while. I did briefly look at it in the IKEA in Seattle when I was in Seattle, but I opted not to get it then either. But it was a little warmer back then, so it wasn't a regret back then. But it's been on my mind to buy this thing, and it's really nice, especially after last night. Last night was so cold. I was happy to have a little extra something warm. Hey, Bomber, how's it going from Australia? Hey, Living Simply, I missed your comment there. Coffee doesn't keep you up either. Okay, that's good. See, there's some of us that are like that. Oh, you lost power. Wow. Huh. I hope you have some solar. I think everybody should have some solar because it seems like there's just more and more power problems going on wherever you live. So probably be a good thing to have a little bit of backup power if you can. Hey, Van Helsing, how's it going, man? No, my coffee does not keep me up at all. I normally drink a cup of coffee right before I go to bed, although I usually don't do a full one of these. This holds about 12 to 13 ounces, but I don't usually do a whole one right before I go to bed because then I have to get up for other reasons, of course. I don't want to do that, especially if it's cold like it was last night. I'm not getting up for anything unless I leave my heater on, but I've been kind of cheap lately, so I've not been running my heater all the time. Hey, JJ. Ah, Tim's got Starlink. That must be nice. Thank you, Nicole. And a lone wolf. Thanks for joining. Outdoor traveler, filling up water. I carry a water bandit and a short piece of hose. The hose I have is probably about yay long, and so I can get water from pretty much any faucet anywhere I go with that water bandit. If you haven't seen a water bandit, just look it up on Google. It'll pop right up. They sell them on Amazon, of course. I think I have a link for one in my Amazon link. I don't make any money on that link, so don't bother to try to buy it off of that link. But if you want to see what it is, it's in that link. That way, I'll just carry my jug into a restroom somewhere and hook right up to any sink and get water that way. I don't like to pay for water unless I absolutely have to, and I'm staying away from RO water, so the reverse osmosis water. One, you got to pay for it, and two, it's just not so great for me. Hey, David, how's it going, man? And if I've missed your comment, I do apologize. My brain is working slowly. It's been a rough last few weeks. I haven't had a good night's sleep in 3 weeks probably. So I'm a little slow on the draw. My reliability on my van. Well, I have an engine that uses all kinds of oil and should have been replaced under warranty by Chrysler Fiat, but they decided that mine was not going to be replaced under warranty. So I have a van that needs a new engine, and I do believe I have transmission trouble coming up. I have a 9-speed German-made transmission in these ProMaster Cities, so those are pretty pricey to replace. So the van has actually been good for me. I've had very little trouble with it, but longevity, it's not the best. I've not even anywhere near 100,000 miles on it, and already need a new engine and a new transmission. So I don't have a whole lot to say nice about these vans other than mine has actually been a decent vehicle for me. Gypsy, I have been thinking about rebuilding some things. I was looking at rebuilding my bed. I just decided it was a little, just going to be a little too pricey for how I wanted to do it. So I kind of put that off for the time being. But if I rebuilt my bed, I would actually get a little more space, usable space underneath, because I'd build it different than what I have it now. So that'll probably be something I'll do coming up. Hopefully once the weather gets a little bit better and I can have a day where I know I can just take everything out of the van and have room to work on everything. Barry, I will never set foot in San Diego again, and that's all I'll say. If you are on my Patreon, you'll know why. But yeah, I don't have any nice things to say about San Diego, and I encourage everybody to stay away from San Diego. Do not ever go to San Diego for any reason whatsoever. Lots of better places, lots and lots of better places around, and I try to do vlogs on some good places around. Kristen, I've been mostly city bound the last month, and I've just not been sleeping well. It's just been crazy loud and busy, and yeah, it's not a melatonin thing. I'm getting plenty of sunlight and good diet, but yeah, I just not enjoying the area that I'm at. Um, that's another thing I'd rather not talk about here. I'll talk about it on Patreon, but that's probably as much as I want to get into it. Just know on San Diego, and I'll just say that there are much better places to spend your time. Much better places. San Diego's just a rotten place. That's all. And then we don't need to talk about it anymore. Um, yeah, I think somebody asked me if I've ever experienced an earthquake in the van. Yes, and I haven't felt it because the van shakes anyway. So uh, yeah, I haven't felt anything. In fact, that big one uh, in Humboldt a while back was that over. It was over a month ago, I guess. But yeah, I didn't feel that one at all, and that was a big earthquake. So you would think that I would have felt that one, but yeah, I don't. I generally don't feel any of them. You have a ProMaster City for work, huh, Tim? Do you? Oh, NV200. That's different. Totally different van. Hey, Lee. How's it going, man? Oh, that California is the best place ever. Um, some places are, better than others, but I don't know there, Grandma. There's so many great places in California that I would recommend people stay away from LA too. LA's not the greatest place to spend time either. Again, lots of better places. But yeah, the rest of the state, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, there you go, Mount Shasta. Has city life been difficult on you, Kristen? Sorry to hear that. Hey, Graham, Portland, huh? Wow. Yeah, let's name off some nice places. Let's not talk about the places I don't want to talk about. California is such a huge state. Hey, Otter, how's it going? California is such a huge state that it's just so different everywhere you go. So there are definitely places that I just don't enjoy being. But I have, if you ever saw my Google Maps that I use on my phone, I have just hundreds and hundreds of pin drops of places that I want to see all over the state. And normally I try to stay close to the ocean, but I mean, I have hundreds of pin drops even on the east side of the state. It's there's so many great places here, and most of the places people just don't talk about very much. Everybody just talks about the negative places. Just easy to be negative and talk about the negative places, but there's just so many great places. And of course, Northern California is a whole different state. I mean, once you get up north of San Francisco, you are in the Pacific Northwest, and it really does feel more like Oregon and Washington. Oh, thank you, Mike. That's so nice of you to do that. And David, thank you so much. No, it's fantastic. Hey, Mike, it's a lot to me, believe me, especially right now. It's a huge help. Yeah, Slow is great. That whole area around Slow is fantastic. It's funny, people get after me for liking Solvang, and I don't know why I like Solvang, but every time I drive through that area, I always like to stay for a day or two, or even sometimes several days in Solvang. And I know it's silly, but I just really like Solvang. Um, but that whole area is just fantastic up there. Morro Bay is fantastic too. Umpqua. I would really like to get to Umpqua. I tried to get there several years ago, and it was right during one of the big wildfires, and I just wasn't able to go. Uh, in fact, it was so bad that year that I didn't even stop. I had had a bunch of places planned to stop and see, and I just kept going because it was visibility was really bad even on the freeway. Yeah, it wasn't a good trip that year for anybody. Oh, thank you, Outdoor Travel. I appreciate that. Hey, Angela, how are you? And I just want to remind everybody, just keep it nice and civil and polite. I will ban people if you get a little rude. So just so you know, I'm not I don't have any problem banning people. So just so you know. Oh, thank you, Van Helsing. That's cool of you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I do need some coffee, so I will put that to good use here. I'm working on a bag my parents gave me, and I'm almost out of it. It's what I'm drinking right now. It's okay, but I'm eager to get some new coffee going. Oh yeah, you had to get out of there too. Diamond Lake, I've heard, is really nice. I don't know much about that, but that's definitely one of those places that I'd like to get to. Oh hey Karen, how are you? Bodega Bay. I don't think I've ever been to Bodega Bay. That's one of those places I'd like to get to too. See, there's so many places to go, and it's funny. Everybody tells me, "Oh, you got to head to the East Coast," and whenever I hear that, I always think, yeah, that would be fantastic. But I've got so many places here on the West Coast. Then I'd still like to get back to Arizona and New Mexico at some point too. I haven't been to New Mexico since I was a kid, so it's been a long, well, young adult, I guess. So it's been a long time. Uh, that's another place I'd like to get back to. Hey, Robert. Hi there, Randy. I'm gonna forget about Diamond Lake, and then wish later jotted it down, wrote it down or something. I should have a pencil and paper so I can write stuff down. Um, yeah, that's just the problem of having hundreds and hundreds of places on your list to get to. Um, it just seems like I add more places to visit more than I get to see those places. Don't know if I'm ever going to get caught up on that. What a problem to have, right? Drew, I think it's different for everybody. And, it's, I think the hardest thing is just getting the van. So I usually tell people if you can possibly camp out of your car, just try to do that first. Just do some car camping, even if it's. I don't ever park in a Walmart parking lot, but I know people like to do that. But even if it's just your local Walmart parking lot in your city, just try doing that, and that will give you some really good tips on what you want for your ultimate setup. And it could be the vehicle that you already have. Uh, But like me, I had a wagon before I had a van. And one of the things I really wanted was I just wanted a sink. And I knew that because I would camp pretty much like I do now, just street camp. And I always wanted a sink so that I could brush my teeth first thing in the morning without having to get out and do it in the bushes or something, or find a place to go brush my teeth in the morning. I know it sounds like a silly thing, but I knew that well before I had my van, just because it was a issue that uh, I ran into camping out of my station wagon. I also knew I wanted a kitchen area and be able to cook for the same kind of reason. I just wanted to make a cup of coffee and some breakfast in the morning. So I think that would kind of be the one thing I'd say is if you can camp out of what you have now, definitely do that, and that'll give you some really good direction on where to go from there. Hey Joe Dirt, how's it going, man? I I've actually made a couple of videos about do I feel lonely, Angela, and I am a major introvert, and I really don't get lonely feeling. Um, Plus, having a YouTube channel of any size is it always feels like I'm chatting with people, even if I'm not directly with people. And so I think if anything, I need a little more solitude than I actually get. The last The last month I've been with friends and family though, pretty much every day. So I have not. I'm kind of over my quota of spending time with people. I know that sounds terrible. I don't mean it to sound terrible, but it is what it is. Uh, yeah, I'm just an introvert, so I kind of need more alone time than I need to be around people. Plus, I'm constantly talking to people. Like I went for a walk before I did this, just because I got up early this morning and I was doing a bunch of driving today, and I was talking to people as I was walking around the neighborhood. I'm not in a terribly nice neighborhood right now, but I mean friendly neighborhood, I should say. But people are still very talkative here. Just seems like it's a funny thing, even in places that aren't really known as being friendly. I find that people just strike up conversations with me wherever I go. So yeah, I mean, being an introvert is a funny thing if you're not one. You have no idea what we go through as introverts. Uh, oh, Williams Travels. You're in a Jeep. Wow, that's tight. I'm sure you enjoy the space now that you're out of it, but I mean, it's doable. It's very doable. I have a buddy that is he's about 6'4", and he lived out of a Subaru wagon for quite a while, a couple of years. So I mean, it's all just about your makeup, whatever you can put up with. Wildflower, you're another introvert. Yeah, introverts unite. There you go, JC. Introverts unite. We thought of that at the same time. A Dodge Neon. That's a tight fit. A station wagon I think is great, or a big car would be okay. But wow, a Neon that would be tight. I wouldn't be able to do a Neon. I don't think. I don't think it'd be comfortable. Hmm. Hey Armando, Puerto Rico, you're up late, very late. Graham, that it actually is. And I tell people all the time that Seattle freeze thing is actually a fantastic thing for van life people because you can park anywhere you want in Seattle. People just don't, they do not want to interact with you. And so it basically means the whole city is just free game to park wherever you want. And that includes even the really ritzy neighborhoods. You can park there because people don't want to even acknowledge your presence. And so Seattle's just a fantastic van life city. It's also a nice place to go if you just want some alone time and just don't want to talk to anybody because you can definitely get that. Hey, Relevant, how are you? I wish I knew where I was heading to next. I've been looking at maps the last several days, and I just have not really been able to figure out a place to go to exactly. Um, I'm back and forth about where I should go, but maybe I'll decide tomorrow. Think about it tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know. Oh, absolutely, Angela. Rav 4, I think is perfect. I mean, I could camp out of a Rad 4 for a little while. I don't think I could live out of one full time, but you could definitely make that work. Uh, you know, there's just enough room in a Rav 4 for most, for most people to sit and lay down comfortably. That's, that's a good size vehicle right there for anybody that kind of wants to just try out van life in a way. And again, that's one of those things that I would say, if you can just park at your local Walmart or Home Depot or Cracker Barrel, whatever you have, you know, that would give you a really good, solid idea of how things would go. Oh, Otter, you could definitely do that. Uh, in Seattle. And you know how people say, "Oh, you can't park in Mercer Island?" Well, I did a video. It's still up. I parked on Mercer Island and I had no trouble whatsoever. So when I say all of the city is free game for wherever you want to park, I'm saying all of the city. If you don't know Seattle, Mercer Island is a pretty posh area. Um, One of the bigwigs in Microsoft back in the day had a house out there. Probably more people too, I guess, but uh, people would always tell me, "Oh, you can't park out there," and I would say, "I have a video that you can see it." Hey, Patrick Bremerton, nice. That's a good area out there. I'm so tired. I'm reading extra slow today. I apologize. Hey, Stanley, I didn't see you come in there. I think minivans are good, not even as a starter vehicle, but just as an all-time vehicle. I hate to think about having to get rid of this van and get another one, but if I did, I would still want another minivan. I wouldn't really want a full-size van ever. I think minivans are fantastic in a lot of ways. Especially, I was in kind of well, if you saw my last video from Saturday in Costa Mesa, uh, it's tight there, and trying to find a parking spot, if you've got a big, huge vehicle, just trying to find a parking spot can be difficult sometimes, depending on where you are. Um, just driving around, getting in and out of like a gas station, is just difficult if you've got a big full size van. But minivan, this is basically just a car. So I just zipped around like everybody else in little cars and didn't have any trouble whatsoever. Oh, Patty, the Bellevue. I was parked in Bellevue and somebody told me, a local, it was one of those times where I was sitting in the van and somebody came up and talked to me. I was sitting on my step outside. I had my door open like I always do. And he was talking to me. He had some questions about solar because he saw the solar panel. And he said, told me that if I'm parking on the streets, that Bellevue has a 12-hour parking limit everywhere. So, most cities in North America have 72-hour parking limits. Well, Bellevue has a 12-hour parking limit. So after he told me that, I stopped going to Bellevue very, very much after that. But it's still a nice place. I like Bellevue. Are you an introvert too, Stanley? Joel, my name is Static because I normally like to just stay in an area for as long as I can. My goal with van life is not to travel all over the place. Most of my friends, like Adventure Van Man that I know. I mean, I don't know if I should really call him a friend, but um, I know him fairly well. We've camped together and stuff. I mean, he travels all over the country. He travels the East Coast. Uh, he goes up to Alaska. I mean, his thing is he's everywhere. And I do the opposite. I want to be doing the least amount of travel as possible. So I'm normally just static in one place. Most of the last six and a half, over 6.5 years, I've been working a regular 9 to 5 job. And so basically I've been very static because I have to stay close to the job. So that's where the name comes in. Hey, Blind Views is here. Blind Views is one of my favorite channels, and I regret to say I've been missing a lot of his videos lately. But fantastic channel if you don't know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But if you don't know his channel, you can click on his little icon. It'll take you to his channel, and you can subscribe and watch what he does. He has a fantastic channel, and like I said, one of my favorite channels. I respect him a lot for what he does. Scott, you got a big van there. Yeah, high top 250. Although there's a lot of great stuff about having a full size van. I would be carrying a lot more stuff with me. So I mean, with that, I get the full size van thing. Oh, hey Kim, how are you? Sorry, I missed your comment there for a second. I'm trying to go back and see if I've missed too much here. And just to let you know, if a comment is a little bit negative, I usually just I don't finish reading it. I just skip it. So you can kind of think about that as you write down what you're going to write down. If it's negative, I have a whole lot of negativity already, and so just with everything else, and so I just if it's a negative comment, I just don't read it. Really, Patty, that's incredible. Huh. That's very I just find that incredible. I never found Bellevue to be terribly easy to park in. Um, I would usually park in Kirkland, but huh. Yeah, interesting. Although I did park around the Bellevue Mall because I would like to go in and get coffee at the mall there from time to time. But huh, wow, that's a funny thing to hear that they're actually just embracing van life people in Bellevue. I mean, that's good. I would say that's good because, that's what I do. That's how I live. Hey, Ken, thank you. I appreciate that. That is true, Stanley. If I had a bigger van, one, I would be carting around all kinds of stuff all the time that I don't need. And two, I would never actually get out of the van. And I need to get out and walk around. I think I did about 7, 8 miles of walking today. So, and I did a ton of driving too. But that's better. If I can do more walking, that's what I really need to do. Oh, thanks, Somber Rambus. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. People tell me that I've got a good design here in the van, and I I don't necessarily agree with that. That the design is good, but because really I'm just working with the space I have, the space limitations I have. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's worked out pretty well. There's some things I could rebuild and get a little more storage in here. We were talking about that a little while ago when I first started the chat. Somebody asked me if I wanted to rebuild something and if I had any plans on rebuilding anything. And it's it. There's a lot that I would like to rebuild, uh, but it always ends up costing a lot more than I anticipate it to. And the wintertime's always kind of funny because unless you know you're in an area that you're not going to get any bad weather, you might have a day where you were planning on doing your build and, the weather changes your plans. So I don't know. It's something I'd like to do. I'd like to get in and rebuild a little bit more. Seems like I was going to go in a different direction. I forgot. Anyway, I think I made a point there. I don't know if I made the point I was going to make, but I made a point there with that. Hey, mile marker, how's it going? Probably burritos. I've been on a burrito kick for about 2 months now, I think, maybe more, and I'm still on the burrito kick. So, so probably burritos. Uh, Rose Hill. I don't know Rose Hill. Hmm. Do they sell Yellowbird by the gallon? That's crazy. Probably good for people. Hey, thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. I have a half a bottle of Yellowbird left, Randy. So I will hold on to your donation there for the next bottle. So thank you. Uh, Although a half a bottle for me, I usually go pretty quick. In fact, I'll probably be using it tonight for burritos, won't I? Barry, I hope to never quit van life. I don't ever want to go back to an apartment or house again. I've done that. 40 years of that is enough. I would like to keep going in van life. Oh, thank you, Patty. I appreciate that, Patty. That's nice of you. Oh, outdoor traveler, yeah, it's hard to build while you're traveling. That's the one thing that I think that's the one thing that I think I wished I would have done a little bit of rebuilding before I actually moved in full time. There were some things I thought, oh, I'll change that later. I'll get to it later. But it's a pain working on the van, especially a big rebuild. It's a pain doing stuff when you're actually living in it because you got to spend so much time moving everything out. And if you're in a parking lot or something, it's just not so fun. I did some work at a friend's house a few months ago, and that was kind of nice because I didn't have to worry about anything that way. But yeah, that is kind of a pain. Yellowbird at Costco. Wait, did somebody just tell me that recently? I think somebody else just told me that recently. I'm surprised to hear that. They must be really ramping up production. That's a good thing in one way. In another way, I don't know. Seems like when places get too big, their quality kind of changes a bit. So hopefully they keep the quality up. You got hooked on Yellowbird too, Graham? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Angela, I probably need to rebuild my bed at some point in the near future. I when I originally built the bed, it didn't quite work, so I kind of took it apart and rebuilt it in a slightly different way. And when I did that, it made the whole structure kind of weak. Now, almost 7 years on, it's still holding up, but it's getting a little creaky, and I've got a little bit of dry rot and stuff on some of the legs. So eventually that'll have to get taken care of. I have time. It's not like it's not something I need to do right now, but if I did do it, I would free up a little bit more space underneath because I would do a different design than I have right now, just so I have less legs holding the bed up, and that would give me a little bit more room. Not much. I've got 1x2 framing that holds the bed up, so that just kind of chops up my space under the bed, and so it just makes it a little bit strange for storing stuff under there. So if I got rid of those and did a different design, I would get a little more space, um, and it's going to have to happen eventually because of that dry rot I have. I've spilled a bunch of water on the back of the van. I've had a bunch of issues with plumbing and also just spilling water when I refill my water tank. So I've got some issues on the back side of the van here. Nothing major. It's just some of the wood back there is not held up very well. Josh, I do not ever want a bigger van. I think a minivan is a perfect vehicle for me. No, it wouldn't work for everybody, but for me, it's just the perfect vehicle. So I really wouldn't want anything other than a minivan. Maybe a slightly bigger minivan would be nice, but just a few more inches of space would be good. But a full-size van, I just don't see the need for it. But that's after, owning this van for 7 years and living out of it for 6.5. My mind may change on that in the future. Who knows? Oh, completely attached to the wall. That's cool. That would be really nice. I've missed a few I've missed a few comments here. I apologize that I have missed a few comments. If you didn't hear what I was saying before, I've not been sleeping well the last few weeks, and my brain is working slowly today. Doing a bunch of walking and a ton of driving. I'm extra tired today. I don't know why I decided to do a live tonight. Anyway, I'm working through it. Oh, thank you, JJ. That's so nice of you. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, getting rid of the legs on a bed frame is such a great idea. Originally, I was thinking I was going to need more structure. My bed actually pulls out, and I had a whole design for it that I never actually got around to implementing. But I built the frame a little bit heavier than it really needed to be because of that sliding top that I built on my bed. And I don't think I'd do that either. I think I would not go with a bed that it opens up anymore. Um, it's complicated and it's not something that I use very often. When it's hot, I really like to have a little more sleeping space so I can kind of roll back and forth to a cooler area on the mattress. But it's just not worth all the extra weight and complexity. I guess that's another reason why I'd kind of like to start with rebuilding my bed. I'd also really like to rebuild this cabinet because this cabinet holds a ton. You can see it's holding a ton, but it would hold a lot more if it were a slightly different shape and design. Not that I'll ever do anything with this cabinet forever because it's there, it's holding everything, and there's really nothing wrong with it, so I probably won't do anything at all to it, ever. But then I don't really like working on the van all that much. If something needs to get fixed, I do it, but it's not something that I really enjoy doing. Hey, Atlanta, how are you? Thank you, Smith W. I actually missed your comment, so I hope it was nice, and I'm thanking you for it now. Well, and I hope you start to get a better sleep soon. Yeah, it's amazing they've stopped making the Transit Connect and the ProMaster City. I think that may have more to do with the Turkish company that was making the two vans for Ford and Chrysler, but who knows what that's all about. Hopefully, they're going to come out with a new, better minivan, both of the companies, and give us some other choices for minivans. Because I really think a minivan is the best thing for a single van lifer. I just think it's like driving a car, so you can drive it anywhere, you can park it anywhere, especially for somebody that's city bound like me most of the time. I think I mentioned that on my newest vlog that I'm basically city bound, 90 to 95% of the time. So a minivan makes a lot of sense for somebody like me. No, Trader Joe's will not have Yellowbird. I don't think ever. A lot of the Kroger stores have Yellowbirds, so like Fred Meyer's, Ralph's, those types of stores. Otherwise, smaller, more independent stores do. Oh, Whole Foods does too. I always forget about Whole Foods. They always have it as well. But yeah, it won't be at Trader Joe's. In fact, Trader Joe's stopped carrying salsa that I used to buy a lot over the last couple of years. Um, it was a Guajillo salsa, and it was really, really good. I was using it for everything, and I don't think they have it anymore either. Trader Joe's is just that strange thing. They have a few things, and if they're not incredibly popular, they get rid of them. Oh, thank you, Giggles. I appreciate that. Oh, JJ, yeah, yeah. Now I remember. I was actually over in your area. A family member took me over to Portola um, Coffee. That was several days ago now, but uh, yeah, Portola Coffee. I was impressed. It was a good place. I don't know if you get over there, but how far away that is from you. But yeah, really, really cool. Plans for the Coachella Valley? I have no plans of visiting the Coachella Valley. And nobody else should either. There's no reason to go there. I mean, camping there outside of Joshua Tree is fantastic, but other than that, well, there's really no reason. Do I ever get to meetups? Um, I've been kind of staying away from meetups really. If I know there's just going to be two or three people, I'm okay with that. If it's a lot of people, I just don't really want to do that. It's just my inverted self. Or introverted self. I've just been staying away from um I've just been staying away from big groups of people. It's kind of the same. Like I don't like going into the mall. Even if there's something I need from the mall, I will look for it someplace else. It would have been nice to go to Adventure Van Man's meetup because it's been a while since I've seen him, and I'm sure that there were other friends of mine that were there too. Um, so it would have been nice to see everybody. But yeah, I think I've I've just become more of an introvert in the last, especially over the last year. I've just become more of an introvert, and so if I know there's going to be a lot of people at an event, I don't want to go. I got I got offered tickets to the event that was put on out in New Mexico. Now I can't remember. It's Josiah that puts it together. Um, I can't remember the name of his website. Anyway, he offered me free tickets to go, and I I turned him down. And honestly, seeing some footage from that event, I don't think it's the kind of thing that I like. It was all about, getting out and dancing and playing loud music and drinking lots of beer because you don't have to drive anywhere. And those are just things I'm just not interested in. Walmart has Yellowbird, really? I don't go in Walmart very often, but I've looked for it every time I've been in a Walmart, and I've never seen it in any of the Walmarts I've been in. Hmm, interesting. Yeah, especially camping. I totally agree with you, Mills. I really like camping by myself. Although I have two friends that I don't mind camping with because when I've camped with them, we might go all day without talking to each other, and we're totally fine with that. So if I know that people are cool like that, will just give me my space and not feel like I'm, you know, uh, being rude or something to them, then I don't mind camping with them. But yeah, camping alone is definitely better. Oh, hey, Susan, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Stanley, I never buy the organic Yellowbird. I think I bought one for a gift for somebody. They invited me over for dinner, and so I took them the organic one. But I just buy the regular one. It's so much more expensive that I'm just I I'm totally fine with the non-organic one. Oh, hey, Granny K. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I hope your son has a nice birthday. Wish him a happy birthday for me, please. Oh, hey, Jay. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Albertsons has Yellowbird. Okay. It's Albertsons part of Kroger or will be soon? I think they are part of Kroger, aren't they? So that yeah, I think basically Kroger stores can get it. They don't always stock it though. I think it just kind of depends on the area. There's times where I don't see it at all, and I'll go looking, like especially if I'm in a kind of fair sized city, I'll go looking around, and I won't I won't be able to find it at all. And I always kind of think like, what's going on? They just don't have it here at all. But yeah, then other times I get to places and it's everywhere. I just see it everywhere. Health food stores and natural food co-ops will usually have Yellowbird too, because I think they started with their, uh, oh, what do you, yeah, I shouldn't have started that sentence because now it's going to kill me that I can't remember that. They're just, their distribution. They got in an organic and natural foods distribution company, and so you'll see it in a lot of natural food stores and co-ops. Line screw. Thank you, buddy. Okay, I will spend it on something else. I'll let you know. I don't. You tell me I can't buy coffee with it. That's great. Uh, hey, Nightly. Have a good night. It is it. Yeah, it is Ralph's. Yeah. Okay, Jay. I was thinking so that there's so many grocery stores under the Kroger umbrella. It's hard for me to remember. Yellowbird is a very popular topic, but it's fantastic. And I kind of think I helped get it popular, because I was talking about it a lot. So I think I deserve a little bit of credit for helping them out. They're a really cool company. They sent me a bunch of coupons, and two of the coupons were for free bottles of Yellowbird. So I have only good things to say about that company. Have you tried has anybody tried? It looks like you haven't tried, right? If you are you saying relevant if you say it sounds good. Um, has anybody tried the blue agave sriracha Yellowbird? I don't happen to like sriracha, so I'm not sure I would like to buy some. Maybe if they had it, oh, next time I go buy an REI, see if they maybe REI sells the little travel bottles of Yellowbird. They're not cheap, but they're not, it's a good way to buy Yellowbird because you can just buy a little 2 ounce thing of it and try it, and then you're not stuck with a whole bottle. So maybe I'll do that next time I buy a REI so I can try it. I do always camp with coffee. Yes. Yes, Line Squirrel. Lots of coffee. I probably could get a gallon of gas for that. For that. So there you go. I'll get gas for that, Line Squirrel. Oh, thank you, Angela. Angela Angela has sent me a gift, and she says, spend this only on coffee. So she's corrected line screws little gift there. So yeah, that's very funny. Uh, she wasn't the first one, Andrew. I think you missed one or two before you came in. Thanks for the laugh. I appreciate that. Yeah, groundwork. You know, the only thing about groundwork is I go through little spurts of buying them. I have not seen groundwork on sale for quite a while. So if it's not on sale, it's a little pricey. I think their prices have gone up over the last year. Maybe it was just the areas that I was in, but it just seems like it's gone up a lot in price. Um, but yeah, I do like groundwork as well. One of my favorites. Although I talk about Olympia coffee, that little, well, my lighting's kind of blown out here, isn't it? But yeah, Olympia coffee, that's one of my absolute favorites. Fantastic stuff. It's hard to get if you're not around the Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia areas. If you're there, of course, it's everywhere. You can get it anywhere. But such good coffee, fantastic coffee. In fact, I would say they are my favorite kind of coffee shop chain. Um, is Olympia Coffee. Really good stuff. If I go out to a coffee shop, if I'm in the Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia area, I will usually pick Olympia for a place to go to sit down and have a cup. They're just an incredible place. I'll get you to unsubscribe one of these days, Line Screw. I'll try. You tried it too, Atlanta, because of me, the Yellowbird? Yeah, good. See, I'm hoping this will pay off one of these days. Oh, did you just buy a bottle on Amazon? Okay. It's a little pricey on there, isn't it? Relevant? Amazon? I think it's a little cheaper at a Whole Foods if you're around a Whole Foods. The first few bottles of Yellowbird I actually bought at REI stores just because I think when I first started trying it, I was working in the Seattle area. So it's just easy. There's REI stores all over the place. So I would just pick it up in an REI whenever I wanted a new bottle. Yeah, I think I'll stay away from the ghost pepper. Oh, have you tried the blue agave? Okay, Stanley. Yeah, maybe I'll buy a little trial size. I don't know. I prefer a little bit spicier than sweeter, and I think sriracha is usually sweeter. So I'm guessing that's going to be Yellowbird as well. So that's why I just don't really have felt the need to try it. Happy Cup. I don't know who they are. Hmm. I'll have to look into them. Yeah, I mean you can order it from REI too, if you're looking for it and you can't find it. And then you get points if you're an REI member. I um I know I've missed a bunch of comments. I'm sorry. Ask me again if it's important. Um I'm not a big fan of Kona coffee. I think it's nice as a smooth coffee, especially like a breakfast type coffee, but I prefer a little bit of acidity in my coffee. Not bitter, you understand, but just a little bit of acidity. So I think the Konas that I have had, and I've only had a few, so I shouldn't say I don't like them necessarily, but of the few that I've had, I just I thought it was good, but it just wasn't my preferred taste and style of coffee. They let you in the U.S. all the time, Line Screw. They haven't learned their lesson yet. Oh yeah, you can order it, Grandma Charlotte. I don't know what the price is on it, ordering it that way, but yeah, my thing is I like to buy coffee in the area that I'm at. So it's a big one when I'm in Washington because usually I'm on that side of the state, don't really get anywhere other than around Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia, and of course the Olympic Mountains. So it's easy for me to get there. And so that's why I buy that. And because I've spent so much time there, I've just really gotten to like it because I bought it a lot there. Although there's a lot of really good coffee in that area. But when I'm in other places, I try to buy the local coffee if I can. There was a couple in Humboldt because I spent so much time in Humboldt over the last several months that there were a couple of companies that were really good. And so they were my preference to just buy those local companies there. That's what I try to do. JJ, are you asking, since I talked about Portola, it's Portola Coffee Company, and I think they have two locations, one in Tustin and one in Costa Mesa. I could be wrong. There's one right near IKEA in Costa Mesa or Tustin, whatever that is. It's on the border. I always get confused with that whole area. But yeah, Portola Coffee. If you Google it, it should come up. I I subscribe to a coffee blog out of Oregon called Sprudge, and they talked about it, and that's how I had heard about it. And then when I asked my family about it, they said, "Oh, that's really good coffee," and they were out taking me around the area, so they said, "Oh, we'll just go over there. We'll just take you over there." So that's how I ended up going over there. That was really good. It was hard not to go back because I was in the area for a while there, and it was hard not to go back. But I am trying to not go out to eat and get out to get coffee, and so I just kept myself out of there. But it was really good. I was impressed with it. Oh, you're in Canada. I knew that, relevant. I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't have an REI up there. You do have Whole Foods though. I wonder if your Whole Foods would carry um, Yellowbird and well everything else, or if they're totally different up there. I've been in Whole Foods in Canada a few times, but it's been a while since I've been up to Canada. Right, you only get 10% of Kona beans in the blend, Stephen. Yeah, all of the Kona that I've had was good. I just like I said, it was a different style than I like. I'm I'm pretty particular. Um, I was talking about it on one of my vlogs that my parents gave me some medium roast coffee and it was really good, like just super quality, high quality stuff, but it was medium roast. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't really enjoy it as much as I could have if it was a lighter roast. Well, thanks for stopping in, Relevant. It's nice to see you. Yeah, and hopefully that works out. Hopefully you have some choices there. Oh, you're using the Aeropress too, Stanley. That's good to hear. It's funny how many people oh, and Randy, you're using Aeropress. Okay. It's funny how many people I've told about the Aeropress and they've just poo-pooed it and they've just said, "Oh, no, I don't like it." And I get the fact that it is plastic. And, I totally get that. Because that's what put me off about the Aeropress is it's plastic and I didn't want any plastic. Uh, But when I finally got to use it, it's such a superior way of making coffee that, yeah, I don't really like the plastic aspect of it, but it's just fantastic. I mean, I hardly ever use my Hario V60 pour over anymore these days. I still keep it out. It's like right out in front of me here, but I hardly ever get it out anymore. Hey, Sonny, nice to see you. You are late. How long have we been on? Oh, over an hour. Goodness. With as tired as I am, I'm surprised I've lasted this long here. Kristen, with the Aeropress, I actually make what you would pretty much say is a cafe Americano. So I make a very strong, concentrated coffee, and then I add water to it. So it's not really going to be an Americano because it's not technically a shot of espresso, but it's kind of halfway there. And part of the reason I do that is I have the travel Aeropress, and so it holds a little bit less coffee or a little bit less water. But it works out really well. In fact, I made coffee for two people the other day, and I just put double the amount of coffee in, gave it a really good stir, and and then just split those, split that concentrated coffee into our 2 cups and topped it off with hot water. I can't make a full cup, but I can definitely do a half of a mug here, which is probably like a normal size coffee cup. Because coffee, in the world of coffee, 8 ounces is a full cup. I just don't ever make that little normally. But yeah, that's the nice thing about an AeroPress is you just make a strong brew, add a little bit of water to it to get it to your liking, and then you're good to go. And after you do it a couple of times, you'll kind of get the ratio that you like a little bit better. Time does go by fast, doesn't it, Blind Views? Oh, you're using the AeroPress 2 gram. That's great. Hey, my friendly pup, how's it going? Now, let's not say anything bad about Tim Hortons. Although you're allowed, Mike, because you're actually Canadian. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Kim. Have a good night. Oh, you are close to Portola, yeah. If you want to treat yourself one of these days, I can highly recommend Portola. I went to another place, another coffee shop that I had heard about from Sprudge, that blog that I subscribed to, and I wasn't quite so happy with that one. If you're Canadian, you can say something bad about Tim Hortons, but I'm not going to say anything bad about him. In fact, I usually like to go to Tim Hortons and get a cup, but I usually can't finish a whole cup of theirs. It's yeah, it's nostalgic to drink it, but it's not my favorite. An Americano is a strictly American thing. Hmm. You know what? I started getting Americanos for a while when I would go into a coffee shop that I wasn't sure about if they were replacing their brewed coffee very fast, and so I would order an Americano because that way I would get a fresh cup. Because some places, they do their batch coffee and then it just sits there and sits there. So uh, I kind of got into liking Americanos just for that reason. Yep, you got that right, Giggly Fish. And now I've totally lost control of the chat. So it seems like I was losing a few comments, but now I'm totally behind. Uh, McDonald's. I've tried McDonald's coffee because so many people have told me it's so good, and mm, I don't really like it. I'm not saying it's bad coffee, I just don't like it. To me, it's very Starbucks like. And I think it just gets back to that fact that I like light roast coffee. So unless I have a light roast cup, I'm just not going to enjoy it. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I can go, I can go to Groundwork or I can go to, Olympia, like I was talking about a few minutes ago. If and they give me a medium roast coffee, I'm just not going to enjoy it. So that's all there is to that. Ru- Rush either is Rush. Oh, yeah, I guess I did know Rush was Canadian. I have no opinions about Rush. Oh, your co-op didn't have Yellowbird. Yeah. Freddy's might. I think most of the Freddy's carry it. Not all of them, though. I learned that the hard way. Hmm. Careful there, Mitch. I do think it used to be better, though, right? And that's kind of what I'm getting from all of you Canadians that have had uh, Timmy's for a while, is that it's changed, and it's not changed for the better. Don't tell Chrome. It's a nostalgic thing, you know. It's a nostalgic thing. So I'm sure the next time I go to Canada, I'll get another cup of Timmy's. I mean, it's nostalgia. I need to every time I go to Canada, I have to get a cup of Timmy's. Well, that's been quite a while there, Mike. I don't think I've well, I don't know. I don't think I've had it since since it's changed, I guess. So I don't know what it used to taste like. Because when I was a kid, I'd never drank coffee really. So yeah, it's too bad I didn't get to try it before. Well, we are getting close to an hour and a half, and I'm thinking it's an hour, getting close to an hour and 20, but close enough to an hour and a half for me. I'm getting tired. We should probably end this because I am missing most everybody's comments, and so yeah, we should probably just say good night, especially those of you that are on the East Coast. I'm surprised so many of you are on the East Coast. I know Mike is on the East Coast, so you're 3 hours ahead. Um, Giggly, I talked about that earlier. If you want to know where I am today, look at my vlog on 2 Saturdays from today, and then you'll know exactly where I am today. Or you can subscribe to my Patreon or YouTube memberships, and you'll know where I am in real time. You can do that too. Anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody. It was very nice, and thanks for all the super chats and the thanks and everything else. This was a nice, easy chat tonight, so I appreciate it. Everybody was very polite and nice, and it's very nice when that happens. So I appreciate everything tonight. So I hope everybody has a good week ahead. And as always, you'll see me on Saturday. I'm trying to keep Saturdays for longer vlogs. So we'll see if I can get that done this Saturday. But that's the plan anyway. So thanks, everybody. And hope you all have a fantastic week ahead.